Joao Felix had this interview and he was speaking to a couple of journalists and he was also speaking to Jared Romero, and he did make a few statements that I just have to speak about in this video, and not in a bad way. I think that what Joao Felix said during this interview, it was very insightful, and I just want to add a few things on top of it. And I do believe that it's important for us to talk about Joao Felix right now because we need to know the future of Barcelona with Joao Felix, because if we bring in Felix in the summer, it's going to be a huge financial obstacle. We know that the best idea is to bring him in again for a loan, but in the end, should Joao Felix continue to be a Barcelona player based off what we have seen in his first season so far? And so let's talk about it, right? This is what Joao Felix had to say to Jared Romero, and he wanted to speak about Bernardo Silva first before anything else, and this is what he said. The club should bring in Bernardo Silva. He is very good and even better as a person. He asked me about Barcelona. He has family here. I told him that everything is fine and for him to come. So first of all, very surprising to see that he is very pro on Bernardo Silva coming. I mean, I can understand why, because they're both Portuguese. They probably talk to each other a lot. Bernardo Silva has always said that, you know, he has been a fan of Barcelona for a very long time, and you know, you always get that sense that maybe eventually Bernardo Silva would represent FC Barcelona. Fabrizio Romano, shortly right after Joao Felix did say that, he also wanted to tweet out something that aligned with his statement, and this is what he said. Silva's release clause is 50 million euros. It is in his contract and it is going to be valid in the summer of 2024, so in about 2 months. 50 million euros for Bernardo Silva does make it very achievable for Barcelona. Like, yes, is it going to be probably one of the most expensive transfers that Barcelona can make? Of course, but it's not like Barcelona are going to have to spend 80 million euros or 90 million euros for Silva. It's 50 million euros, which is a huge discount. Silva has always been a player that has been admired by Xavi Hernandez. Bernardo is like so good on 1v1s. He knows how to move in tight spaces. He's a great attacking midfielder also, and he plays just like Lamine Yamal, only except Bernardo Silva is much better in decision making, I would say, and mainly because, you know, he has more skin in the game. He's a veteran, he's much more experienced, which makes a lot of sense. And if you look at his chances created per 90, you can see that he has been improving a lot over the past 3 to 4 years. And the reason why he has been able to be so good in chances created is because, like, in his dribbling, he does not do that as much as he used to before, mainly because he is aging. And you know, when you're like 30 years old, 31 years old, you're gonna want to slow down your dribbling rate because eventually you could get injured in the future. Very similar to like Messi. Messi changed his game, his way of playing. He used to dribble a lot back in his younger years, but ever since he turned 29, 30, 31 years old, he lowered down his dribbling rate and relied much more on key passes, which is why Bernardo Silva has a better chance creation rate. And as you can see here, his dribble success ratio has decreased just by a little bit. And even in his attempted dribbles per 90, it has also drastically decreased. So that is the type of player we're probably going to be getting with Silva, is somebody who dribbles much less but knows how to find those key passes. And I believe that because of that, he would be a great success at Barcelona. I can imagine a front three of Felix, Lewandowski, and Bernardo Silva. I'm pretty sure that's probably the reason why he was asking for Silva in this statement, is because he believes that he can find those through passes that do come from Silva. Felix can make those runs. It would be very exciting. So moving forward from that, now let's get more Joao Felix focus. And so this is what Felix had to say. Obviously, I would like to play at the Camp Nou. It's a shame that we can't play this year. The stands in our current stadium is very far away. We'll see what happens next season. My family's happy and I'm happy. I would like to stay, but it does not depend on me. To wear the number 10 shirt, wearing this shirt number at Barcelona is always a very big responsibility. It's been my favorite number, but I have never been able to wear it. We'll see if I can stay. Let's see what happens. Then he speaks about him facing PSG, and he says this: the games we play against big teams, we have enormous motivation. That's where the best players appear. Those are the big days. We take into account the weapons of your team, like Mbappe and Dembele. We know their dangers and we hope to win. So one thing is very clear, and that is that he believes that he is going to be staying at Barcelona, like 100%. I don't know if he knows his own situation, but most of us do know here in this YouTube channel that he's going to be a very expensive player to keep because of his transfer fee and also because of his wages. And what does not help his current situation is that we're not getting the best version of Joao Felix. Like, to be honest, the way that Felix has been performing this season, we're only getting like 60% of him. He can be much better, because every time I see Felix play on the pitch, he just seems very passive and I don't see a lot of passion, and he never really wants more. And I know that it may seem like I'm being like really hard on this player, and it may also seem like I'm also trying to bash on the player. I get it, but it's not really that. It's just I really do think highly of the player. Like, my expectations for Joao Felix is really high. Like, if Felix worked hard, just like someone like, let's say for example, Gavi or Frankie or Rafinha, Joao Felix can be in the top 8 best players in the world easily because of his technical quality. His technical quality is outstanding. outstanding. Because when I look at the other players right now that are really making it out there in the world of football, like Haaland, Kylian Mbappe, Phil Foden, Musiala, I would also even add in Gavi. You look at those players there and they're always asking, how can I make more goal scoring opportunities? How can I ask more for the ball? Where do I move? What spaces should I run into? Right? Like they're always on top of their toes. Haaland, Mbappe, Musiala, Gavi, all these players, they're always on top of their game, becoming very hyperactive, very passionate about the game. They're screaming, telling the players pass the ball to them all the time, like every 2 minutes. They're always asking for more, right? More goals, more assists. Like every time I see Joao Felix make a goal or an assist, he relaxes. And I'm like, dude, no, like you should want more. Like ask for more. Look at Phil Foden. Just 2 days ago, he scored 3 goals against Aston Villa. I remember when he scored his first goal, he continued to play with more energy because he wanted more. More goals, more assists, more goal scoring opportunities, more shots, more chances created, more. Kylian Mbappe scored 3 goals against Montpellier. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but he scored his first goal and then he kept running, trying to make those runs into open spaces, asking for the ball constantly. He was hungry. Luis Diaz, even though he did not score against Man City, he created the most chances in that match. He created the most dribbles in that game. He had the most duels in that match. He was constantly asking for the ball, always trying to be a threat against Man City. High intensity, high passion, the whole thing. And that is something that I want to see from Felix. When I see him score, he's like, okay, I scored. Let me just fix my hair now. Let me just walk around here. Maybe if I get the ball, how can I make it look pretty? You know, it's too passive. And when you represent a team like Barcelona, you cannot do that. You always need to ask for more. And when I see like the opponent have the ball, like one of the defenders, any opponent, right? The first player that I want to see pressing the defense is Joao Felix. Like Felix should be the first one. He should want the ball. He should be the one trying to get the ball first and trying to create another goal scoring opportunity. But again, Felix does not do that. So he continues to talk about his current role and how he views the second striker position. And this is what he said. As a second striker, behind the striker, I have only played in Benfica. That is where things go better for me. With this formation, playing on the wing, I try to do the best I can. And so look, 2 things. I have already said before, right? Like I have admitted to everybody here on this YouTube channel that yes, Felix is made for the second striker role. Like we have seen him play like that back in his younger years. Ideally, he would love to be at a club where they play in a 4-4-2 formation. This is one of the reasons why he went to Atletico Madrid. Unfortunately, it did not work out. But 2 things, right? I want to make 2 points. Point number 1, I don't care, Felix, if you play as a center back or as a right central midfielder or as a right winger or even as a freaking goalkeeper. At the end of the day, no matter what position that you play in, you need to run, you need to press, you need to always constantly go on 1v1s over and over again. It does not matter where you play, right? It's a non-negotiable thing. You always need to run, you always need to press, you always need to create goal scoring opportunities. Always, every minute, no matter what. So the current role that you are given, it is irrelevant because right now I don't see him running a lot. I don't see him pressing a lot. I don't see him always challenging the opponent. Point number 2, even yes, right? Like I've said, when Felix is out of his position, because I know that he is a second striker, he is not a left winger, right? Because right now he is playing out of position. Even with you, Felix, playing out of position, it should not matter. You should own that position. You came to Barcelona and you accepted the reality that you were going to go to a team that plays in a 4-3-3, and most likely you were going to play as a left winger. Barcelona not once was going to readjust their whole formation just to fit you in, right, Felix? That's not going to happen. You need to be able to accept the fact that you're going to be playing in a different position and you need to own that position, because Hector Fort did not complain when he went into the left back position. He has trained his whole life to play as a right back and he got played in the left back position because Xavi Hernandez needed him there and he delivered. Alejandro Balde was playing as a right back not too long ago and he still delivered. Ideally, he would have loved to just to continue to play as a left back because he is left-footed, but no, he had to play on the right back position because that is where Xavi needed him and he delivered. He was playing amazing as a right back. Gavi, who is a central midfielder, went through playing as a left winger, as a central defensive midfielder 5 months ago and he never complained and he delivered. He made those positions his own. Rafinha is a right winger, but he came to Barcelona and he had to adjust himself to sometimes play as a left winger or maybe even sometimes as a right central midfielder. Rafinha at one point, yes, did complain. Last season, he was saying, I don't want to play on the left wing. I feel very uncomfortable. I just want to play on the right wing. But now he made that position his own. He does not complain. He worked hard. He tried to understand the role that he was given, and now he plays amazing as a left winger, and he plays amazing as a right central midfielder. As a matter of fact, in his most previous goal, he scored as a right central midfielder, with Joao Felix making the assist. Koundé, who is a center back and has devoted his whole life and his career to play as a center back, has accepted the role of playing as a right back, and he plays amazing as a right back. He plays with full confidence. We can even go back to 2011 or 2009. Messi always played as a right winger, but then Pep Guardiola said, you know what, I'm going to readjust some things. I want you to play as a false nine. And guess what? Messi delivered, and he made that role and that position his own. That was his. No one else was better than him in that position. Bernardo Silva, we can even go to a different team in this current time. Bernardo Silva at Man City is a right winger, and sometimes Guardiola needs Bernardo Silva as a central defensive midfielder. Can you believe that? A right winger going into the CDM role, and Bernardo Silva continues to make that position his own, and he bosses the midfield. And you know what's so common about all of these examples that I have just given you guys is that they are all under a great coach, and they have enough confidence to make that role their own. Joao Felix can do the exact same thing because he has a good coach, which is Xavi Hernandez, and I know that if he ups his confidence, he can make the left wing position his own, and he can become one of the best left wingers in the world if you really wanted to, because I think that he can. Like I have said earlier in the video, I think very highly of Joao Felix because he is so technical, he is so talented, he can do so much more. This guy here is on a loan, but he plays like if he's on a permanent transfer. I don't understand that. Like this season that he is in, this is like a trial period. If you don't make it, if you're not good enough, they're just gonna send you back and you're just gonna continue to be lost. So moving away from that, Felix continues. I would like Xavi to reconsider his situation. He has great ideas and is a very young coach. People in Barcelona love him very much. At the beginning, I played many consecutive games. The competitiveness in Barcelona is very great. They are very good players. Then he continues. Obviously, I would like to play at the Camp Nou. It is a shame that we cannot play this year. Like I've said, my family is happy and I am happy. I would like to stay, but it does not depend on me. And I'm like, dude, of course it depends on you. Like I bet you that if you perform 100% in every match, if you score a goal per 90 minutes and provide an assist every other game, Barcelona will do all they can to keep you. Of course it depends on you. Like if you improve your game and you get better and you score more goals and you provide more assists, Barcelona will find ways to make sure that you continue at Barcelona for the next 7 to 8 years. They'll probably start an OnlyFans, maybe start selling grass from the Camp Nou. They'll probably do like meet and greets with the players, $5 per meet. They'll find ways to bring in the revenue because you can become that good. And I find it so strange, right, to even talk about this, to even like talk about how Felix needs to do even more to get stronger, faster, wanting more, a higher mentality. Like it's so strange for me to talk about this because this is a player that plays in the exact same nationality of another player that's from Portugal. And that player that I'm talking about is Ronaldo. There's a player that defines hard work, and that is Cristiano Ronaldo. And I'm like, dude, Joao Felix, like, you know Ronaldo. You know him so well. You know what it took for him to become the best player, or if not one of the best players in the world at one point. Ronaldo was not the most technical when he first came up. He was not the most talented. You know how he became a very technical player and became very important and became very good at scoring free kicks, timing his runs, shots, penalties, his speed, his composure. You know how he became good in all of those things is by working hard. You put 2 hours in the gym, gain your strength. You put 2 hours on the training pitch, learn the tactics. You put another 2 hours on your mental work and become the best player that you can be, because that is what Ronaldo did. And I'm like, dude, Ronaldo is like your friend. You guys come from the exact same national team. That is your brother, and you don't look up to him and you don't see him as like an idol to replicate. I find that so strange how he does not look up to someone like Ronaldo, and they're in the same position. Ronaldo bossed the left wing position. Why can't Joao Felix do the exact same thing? Now he has 9 goals and 4 assists. It's not bad. Like if you bring out any player in the top 5 leagues, 9 goals and 4 assists as a left winger is really not that bad. But just for context, right? Rafinha is close to those numbers and he had 3 injuries. Joao Felix can do so much more based off his talents. I'm telling you guys, I think very highly of Felix. Felix is somebody who can score at the very least 15 goals and 10 assists per season. At this point, he should be having 15 goals and 10 assists. But no, he has 9 goals and 4 assists. He should be having so much more. Much more. We should even be debating whether Felix should stay at Barcelona, because at one point, about 4 years ago, Felix was projected to be one of the best players in the world. But we'll see. We'll see what happens in the future. We'll see how Felix performs in these upcoming very important matches, like against Real Madrid, Girona, PSG, etc. Felix has to be one of the conversations that we are going to be having in those matches on a positive note. And so that is it. That is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.